La conférence d'Annapolis appartient désormais à l'histoire. Israéliens et Palestiniens s'efforcent de poursuivre sur la route des négociations afin d'aboutir à un accord final et à la création d'un État palestinien. InfoLive TV a rencontré Wadi Salem, analyste politique palestinien et fervent défenseur de la paix, dans son bureau de Jérusalem-Est. Monsieur Salem nous a livré ses impressions sur les scénarios de l'après-Annapolis et sa vision des principaux sujets de discorde entre Israéliens et Palestiniens.
I think the situation after Annapolis became bitter. And the reason for that the two sides, the Israelis and Palestinians, are getting to speak with each other again. And also it was a good sign that the Arab countries attended Annapolis, including Syria. There was a fear among Palestinians that Syria will not attend, and therefore create a position where the Palestinian opposition factions will have an opposition conference in Damascus, something that did not happen. Therefore, the opposition factions lost ground and Syria participated. Now, the most important that this momentum created by the participation of the Palestinians and the Arabs and the revival of partnership between Israelis and Palestinians will be a beginning of a serious process of negotiations.
La dernière rencontre entre négociateurs israéliens et palestiniens s'est soldée par un échec, dû aux protestations palestiniennes face à la décision israélienne de construire de nouveaux logements à Jérusalem-Est. Wadi Salem nous explique ici son point de vue.
I think what's happening now is that the two leaders are taking time in order to make maneuvers in order to satisfy their public opinions. And therefore, since Israeli governments, one after one, kept speaking about Jerusalem as the united capital of Israel, so they are trying to maneuver by this settlement, expansion in Jerusalem area, in Jebel Abu Ghnim, Har Huma, and in other areas around Jerusalem. But I think that these maneuvers that the leaders are doing in order to satisfy their public opinions should stop as soon as possible, in order to be able to begin the serious and sincere process. Otherwise, both leaders will begin losing ground for the extremist groups in both societies.
L'émissaire du quartet au Proche-Orient, Tony Blair, ainsi que les dirigeants américains, nourrissent l'espoir d'aboutir à un accord final avant la fin de l'année 2008. Wadi Salam nous livre ses impressions sur le sujet.
I think the final agreement is already there. Still, there are only some small details that are not agreed upon. The final agreement is, you can see it in Clinton parameters, you can see it in Geneva Initiative, you can see it in Nusayba Ayalon Initiative. There are a lot of agreements about everything almost. Still some small details that's still not cleared up, like how many refugees will go back to Israel. Of course, both sides agree that symbolic number should go to Israel, but they do not agree about the number. It should be 75,000 or 150,000. And there are some details about the security of the prayers in Al-Aqsa Mosque and in the Wailing Wall, and how you will preserve this kind of security. So, and other small minor issues that should be clarified out. Otherwise, the parameters of the solution is known. Two-state solutions with two capitals in Jerusalem, and each state will be the state of its citizens. Therefore, the Palestinian refugees will return mainly to the Palestinian state.
Récemment, le président palestinien Mahmoud Abbas avait déclaré qu'en aucune circonstance les Palestiniens ne reconnaîtraient l'État d'Israël en tant qu'État juif. Le Premier ministre Ehud Olmert avait pourtant déclaré que cette reconnaissance était la condition nécessaire à toute négociation.
Actually, my advice about this issue will be as follows: that it should be enough for Israel that the Palestinian leadership recognized the state of Israel. This should be enough for Israel. Now, the decision about the status, the nature of the state should be decided by the Israeli citizens themselves. So this, if it is a Jewish state or a state for citizens, this should be discussed among the citizens of Israel, the majority, and since the majority in Israel is Jewish and not non-Jewish, therefore the Jewish majority has already the majority that can allow them decide internally in internal discussions that Israel is a Jewish state. So they don't need the Palestinians to recognize that it is internal Israeli discussion.
Au moment où les négociations de paix se poursuivent, des pluies de roquettes s'abattent quotidiennement sur la ville de Sderot et les localités du Negev occidental. Comment Israël et l'autorité palestinienne pourraient-ils s'entendre avec le Hamas ?
I think that the two leaders, Abu Mazen and Olmert, should agree with each other or to create additional indirect track with Hamas in order indirect, and I'm saying indirect, which means that it will not be direct Israeli negotiations with Hamas and not direct Abu Mazen negotiations with Hamas. Both of them cannot discuss directly with Hamas. The Israelis cannot do that because Hamas is not recognizing Israel, and Abu Mazen cannot negotiate direct with Hamas unless they bring the situation in Gaza to what it was before June 2007. Therefore, both of them cannot discuss with Hamas now, and therefore they can have indirect line with Hamas through Egypt and other actors in order to get to an agreement with Hamas on the issue of calmness, which is in Arabic tahdi'a in Gaza, therefore the launching of rockets against Israel will stop, and also on the issue of the release of the Israeli soldier Gilad Shalit from Gaza, and the daily life issues of the people in Gaza. These are the issues that should be in this indirect approach with Hamas, while the negotiations about the permanent status will be kept as the sole responsibility of the two leaders, Abu Mazen and Olmert.
En conclusion de notre entretien, Wadi Salem nous a enfin expliqué les attentes des Palestiniens pour l'année 2008.
The Palestinian people are cautiously optimistic about the possibility of getting to a peaceful agreement by the end of 2008 and to begin implementing it by the beginning of 2009. And let us hope that this will happen.